Philip Burnell is a man. Oh, man. Literally. Men.
Try to relax your anus.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Nature called, but I hit stream and I'm like, I'm good to go. Oh wait, I got a shit. So yes, now my anus is relaxed. Actually, don't know how long I am going to be streaming today, because it's been a long day. I know there was a super chat. It's telling me that there wasn't. That's a lie. There was multiple ones. Oh, wow. Even more than I thought. Papa Doodle Doodle. Thank you, Deadeye. What's up, hero? How are you, man? Birdman Rich, Mark186. What's good? Watch Gamer from Mars' new Chris Chan documentary? Oh, shit. Maybe we will. Yes, I'm coming soon. Nature called a man. I see myself there. Yeah.
Watch your balls.
I watched DSP stream today, and he spent 90 minutes lecturing his viewers about the people who hate him watching while snorting and hawking loogies. I think I actually saw a bit of that live. So I know you are... I don't know about the loogies and the hawking and all that shit. I was only there for... I heard him, so I'm talking about it again, though. I wish I could make him understand that's the exact opposite of what he should do, but... We all know that Philip Burnell is a man. But, how long is the Chris Chan documentary, by the way? Also, absolutely amazing. We are at 287 members. We only need 13 more members to hit the 300. And if we do by the end of March... I will be having a giveaway for everyone who is a subscriber. So, to be part of the giveaway is 100% free. 100% free. It is not a pay-to-win. That would be illegal. I know people are pissed off and realizing that Gran Turismo is a grind fest. So, sure, we could watch the Chris Chan documentary. It's actually a good idea. I was going to do some... I don't even know what the... Honestly, tonight I don't even know what the fucking... DSP is still a man without birds. Well, he had a pulsating chicken bird in his sandwich. As we do know. So, here's something interesting. I'm actually going to have a review up, like with all the big boys. I am actually going to have a review up of... Ghostwire Tokyo when it's allowed to be released, like everybody else, which probably means it'll get 20,000 views. It was art from Gamer from Mars that was on here. Yeah, I can't tell you anything about the game. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it is a game that is a video game that you could play on your PlayStation 5 or PC. No, I have not looked at that, Florida Chicken Man. In the past 48 hours, it was Taking Care of Children, Ghostwire Tokyo, Children, Ghostwire Tokyo. And I got about 5 hours in. Which, you know what, though? You know, my editor is the one who's officially reviewing it. I would never dare say it's a review. But all I will say is I played enough to give a valid take, though. But I still wouldn't call it a review. On my end. My editor, that's why it's going to be called a review on my channel, because he's played plenty. That's all I could say about it right now. God, this video from him must be huge. Oh, wow. I see. I actually thought the Chris Chan conspiracy, huh? We got Midnight Star. Thank you for becoming a member.
I want everything!
We also got Green Thor. Thank you for coming a member. We already got 2 members. It says I've been streaming for 14 minutes. I definitely have not been streaming that long. Yes, we got Midnight Star, Green Thor. We got 2 members already. This is beautiful. And yes, I'm going to show you the screen. I did not forget. There he is. There he is. Symphony of the Night is... Oh, get out of here. Not you. Symphony of the Night is very good, but that's when everything turned into fucking Metroidvania, and I kind of got, Here, I'm going to change the title. The Gamer from Mars, Chris Chan documentary. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. And I should get a Chris Chan thumbnail since we are watching this. Chris Chan, which I'm sure I could probably find in 3 seconds because he is the most documented person on the internet. Yes, here we go. That took all of 10 seconds, and these are just 2 plain pictures of him. So I think I could. Funny Moments 34, thank you for becoming a member. I don't think I thanked you already. Oh, you've been a member for 5 months. Ah, it's finally fucking members, man. What's up, Rachel? So there's of Chris Hansen talking about wings. Let me tell you, trolling 101, because Chris Hansen, which is why he shouldn't do this as an investigative journalist, someone actually did it to put in one of my videos. Shout out to Sean McCarthy. He's been a subscriber of mine for a very long time. It was what is it called, where you could pay someone and they do a fucking cameo. I was on there for like 30 seconds and then it just skeeved me out. Yes, I'm the same guy that will take a shirt off for $50. So someone paid Chris Hansen to say on Cameo that stupid shit. Chris Hansen said it, and now the trolls are going to run with that Chris Hansen is investigating wings. He's not fucking investigating wings. He's not investigating. That was a cameo. Why are you doing cameos, Chris? You're going to get caught up in that. Dude, if I was his... I'm sure he has an agent or something. I would be like, yo, no, bro. No. What are you doing? Reevaluate how you're getting income. This is why I'm afraid to do fucking Cameo, because I'm afraid that people will take my shit. Let me just use this. I'll use the world-famous Chris Chan thumbnail. Actually, let me get this one. It's brighter. No. Let me not get that one because it's not widescreen. Here we go. Fly like a bird. Hold on 1 second. You want 3 DSP snorts, by the way. I'm sorry. Oh, that was fairly fast. They were longer. All right, so... Chris Chan, where are you at? Here we go. Holy shit, KH, I'm looking at your... Yeah, dude, he's been... And the thing about Chris Chan is that... Chris Chan has been a part of internet history for a very long time.
About my house off the...
Oh, I remember this.
internet!
This is Christian Weston Chandler,
Yeah, there was a time that Spoonie was pretty decent.
previously known as Christopher before an animatronic bear said his name wrong, which led him to have it changed. Soon to be known as Christine when she transitioned to be a woman, but online trolls call them Chris Chan. He's demanding a video showing his hoarding situation be taken off the internet so that his elderly parents won't have their house condemned by the government. Who would report him? Well, that would be a dedicated group of internet users who have cataloged
Trolls.
this man's life for the past 15 years, making him one of the most well-documented people in human history, with his wiki containing thousands of pages. This includes a Nickelodeon cartoon character stealing his girlfriend, a doppelganger trying to steal his identity, him being catfished by a dozen different women, the destruction of his PlayStation 3 for a fake bounty, money stolen from his bank account, his house catching on fire, the macing of a GameStop employee.
Oh my god, I remember that. Andrew, I missed your super chat, did I? Are we going to wear the chicken suit? That's almost a guarantee, but the two switches, I already have them here. They're brand new, 2-switch OLEDs.
Running over a store owner with his car, getting tricked by the creator of the Super Mario Bros., and having his character Sonic Chew stolen by a British sports commentator. Sonic Chew is a hybrid of Sonic and Pikachu that Chris created an entire comic series for. This character is also his real-life alter ego that he believes will one day bring about an interdimensional merge that will reveal him to be the reincarnation of Jesus.
Well, that's a thing.
But I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go back to the beginning.
I introduced you to Chris Chan. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, dude, and that's nothing, unfortunately. The Major League Ginger. That's nothing. It'll get worse. It'll absolutely get worse.
So for years now, people have been asking me to do a video talking about Chris Chan, and the problem is I just never knew where to begin on the subject. So for the
Yeah, dude, that ain't shit. I'm telling you.
past month now, I've been trying to get in touch with Chris Chan in any way I could. But after all that failed, I messaged...
Yeah, the Series S, for some reason, they're able to pump out, and it's selling well, too. Which is, you know, it's not that he, you know, if I could talk today, it's not that it's not in demand. I guess wherever they're manufacturing could pump them out.
Poppets. He responded right away and asked me if I wanted to do an interview with Chris Chan, and the answer to that was absolutely
Wait, is that his room?
yes. So within a few days, I get a cameraman and I am heading down a couple hours, making a road trip out of it to meet the notorious Chris Chan in person. And this is the street.
Holy crap. He like went to his house and shit? You mean 1S or Series S? Two totally different consoles.
Is that it?
I mean, that looks...
Sonic Chew. Look.
Sonic...
Zoom in on the license plate.
Hold on.
Wait, Chris Chan drives? This was made before and filmed before.
Let's see if I can get that.
No.
Hello. Hi. Hey. How are you?
Art, is that right?
How's it going, Chris? I'm Jesse.
It's an honor to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Christine, hello. I'm Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
Nice to meet you.
The rumor I've heard is that Chris Chan is probably partially the reason why subconsciously I don't identify Chris Chan female, is I've heard this now, and I don't know if it's true or not, that Chris Chan transitioned just because they thought that they were going to be able to get laid easier. Mario Paul, whose super chat did I miss? Who did I miss here? Oh, you sent me source stuff. Keep it classy. Okay. I got your text today. I'll hit you up, dude. I've just been... Had to record for Ghostwire Tokyo. Had to get that up. Had to play more. Like, I just got the code. What is today, the 20th? I just got the code on the 18th. I didn't realize it until then. I'm like, holy crap, I need to play. I'm not technically the reviewer, but I need to play enough to know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's all I can say. That's what I'm saying, and that's why even like the transgender community, from what I've heard, and it could be a crock of shit because there is a bunch of Chris Chan haters, that was the reason that Chris Chan transitioned, because they thought it would get them actual vagina. Because he's been wanting a real life girl. If you remember too, Chris was homophobic as fuck. Remember that? Like, Chris Chan would have made fucking Quantum TV blush. Actually, wait. No, I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think Chris Chan ever wished death on the LGBTQ community. Maybe, or maybe he did. I don't know, but he used to say some really harsh things.
All right.
Yeah, he bought Bluntmore. He bought a hooker. He admitted to it on camera when this is before he transitioned.
Suppose we can go inside.
Yeah, let's go
In?
inside.
Okay.
We're gonna do the interview downstairs.
Okay. Oh.
Downstairs.
I can't tell you that right now, dude. You got to wait until the NDA, which I believe is 9 a.m. EDT. I can't say anything. I could just say that I reviewed it. I am bound by, and I'm going to respect Bethesda, Well, you can only rent. You know what I mean. Rent, thrusted. I don't know. Unfortunately, I've seen Chris Chan, before they became a woman, have sex with a blow-up doll. It is something I wish I never saw.
Okay.
Quiet down! Quiet down! Quiet!
Now, is this Chris? I'm asking questions like you guys
Everybody's
know.
inside.
Oh. That's not... I mean, it's messy as fuck, but that's not what I expected worse.
All right. Well,
Probably because he knew, of course, they were coming.
this is very nice.
I know that Art felt awkward as fuck. Come on.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the room where it was.
This is
The dimensional merge is happening now. The dimensional merge... Oh. Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. God, Chris Chan is fucking crazy.
this is where it all
Sonic Chew. Those dogs are screaming blatantly. They calm down after a little bit sometimes.
yeah.
Is that thing on right now?
Yeah, is that okay?
Oh, hello. Hello out there, YouTube, internet, all that. Hello. Hope you're all having a good day. There's your intro. Kinda.
All right. Yeah, good enough.
Before I forget while it's
Even
doing a
prior to
transition.
his birth, Chris's parents' relationship gave many reasons for
me a
concern.
favor, I'm
Bob
streaming
and
right now
Barbara
and I'll watch it
Chandler
later.
were aged
Send
54 and
me
40
the
respectively.
Wii
At
U
this
notes,
later
the stuff
time
you
in a
need me to
couple's
film
life,
tomorrow.
most are dissuaded by medical professionals from having children. This is for a variety of reasons. As many
when
studies have shown, such an age difference would leave a
This is where
wanna
it all
see.
Sonic Chew. Those dogs are screaming blatantly. They calm down after a little bit sometimes.
Is that thing on right now?
Yeah, is that okay?
Oh, hello. Hello out there, YouTube, internet, all that. Hello.
Dude, term limits all day, from the presidency to anyone who's... There should be 2-year term limits for everybody. Period. End of discussion.
Hello. Hope you're all having a good day. There's your intro. Kinda.
All right. Yeah, good enough.
Even prior to his birth,
Why are you concerned? Dude, dogs howl like that all the time. My Chihuahua, you would think he was getting murdered when a new diaper was being put on him. It doesn't always mean a dog is actually in distress.
Chris's parents' relationship gave many reasons for concern. Bob and Barbara Chandler were aged 54 and 40 respectively. At this later time,
Damn, Dad was 54 when he had him? Shit.
in a couple's
I didn't realize he was that old.
life, most are dissuaded by medical professionals from having children. This is for
Yeah, hounds always sound like they're getting murdered.
A variety
And they're fine.
of reasons. As many studies have shown, such an age difference would leave a large generational gap between parent and child. In some cases, this can put the child at risk of growing up socially stunted, as from a biological standpoint, they also have a larger chance of facing health complications at birth.
Like autism.
More specific to the Chandlers as individuals, however, was the hastiness of their relationship. Prior to Chris's birth, the two had been married for only 2 years. They'd wed quickly in a bid to escape their previous marriages. Consequently, they held strained relationships with their previous families, with Barbara's in particular being intense. Additionally, they were both alcoholics, having even first met each other in a bar. Of course,
Oof, okay. TSP and rival turf hype. You gotta... Oh, beagles always sound like they're getting murdered. I know people who own beagles, yeah.
that's not to say that their family unity was doomed from the start. In spite of these imperfections, it was far from unsalvageable. But these details are important in establishing that from their newborn's conception, it was an uphill battle. Such a dynamic requires a consistent and active effort to maintain
Well, that's a good sign. Edema. How you liking the consoles?
normalcy, one that the Chandlers may have not been ready to face. Christopher Weston Chandler was born in Charlottesville, Virginia on February 24th, 1982. In those first few months of life, Chris was an average toddler. His first word, according to his mother, was monkey, a rather cute mispronunciation of mommy. However, it wasn't long before problems would arise. To start, in spite of having a newborn child, they continued their nightly routine of going out drinking. To babysit Chris, as well as his half-brother Cole, who lived with them at the time, they appointed Rochelle, a woman who lived in the same neighborhood as the family. Chris's sibling later recalled that it was apparent to him, even as a youngster, that she was unfit to be caring for children. As the story goes, one night in August of 1983, Rochelle became irritated with Christopher after he interrupted her phone call. She opted to punish the toddler by locking him in a room by himself for the rest of the night. Christopher, who was
Jesus. What the fuck?
just 1.5 years old at the time,
I knew it had to be more than autism. I knew it. There's no way.
was traumatized to the point that when he was rescued, he refused to speak entirely. In fact, he regressed to the point of only communicating through screaming and crying for the next 6 years. To compensate for this newfound
No, I didn't know that Blippi is a Netflix show. It makes sense, though. I knew he was gonna, I knew he was gonna get over the whole drama that happened, man. Shit, you know, no pun intended with Blippi. Shit happens.
his parents began taking him to attend speech therapy classes.
No, what's going on in the Ukraine?
Which is where he was first diagnosed as being autistic, with the doctor predicting that he would likely never write his own name, let alone make it to high school. In a strange twist of events, Bob and Barbara would continue leaving Christopher with the delinquent
he did not
babysitter
die.
for the next few years, likely so they could continue their tradition of late-night benders. This led his stepbrother, Cole, to attribute Chris's early muteness as largely being
No, on Netflix. He's not just on YouTube or wherever anymore.
the fault of their neglect, a trend that would only worsen with time. Though the assertion that neglect was the source of his autism is baseless, the babysitter's supposed actions undeniably exacerbated Chris's condition. And in
Yeah, no
spite of
kidding.
its immediate consequences, they failed to take many basic preventative measures. In 1985, a new family moved into the Chandlers' neighborhood. With a child of their own, the families quickly became cordial with each other. This naturally led to Christopher becoming playmates with the couple's daughter, Sarah Hammer. Chris has a fond view of the years he spent with Sarah, reflecting upon them by proclaiming her to be a lifelong best friend. Unfortunately, the young girl would often pull mean-spirited pranks on the autistic child. An example of this was
Yeah, they're definitely ample upgrades. They're adequate upgrades. Whereas the PS4 and Xbox One were shit at the time, in my opinion. Until they came out with the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X.
when she once convinced Chris that the cartoon character, Casper the Friendly Ghost, lived in the crawl space under her home. Once the young boy had crawled under the residence to look for himself, she proceeded to lock him in, trapping Chris until her father came to the rescue. While one could argue that events such as these implicate her as a foe, Chris insists far more positive than negative experiences. He dismissed them as just childish pranks, overshadowed by his cherished memories of them playing. According to Chris himself, it was her that brought him out of his autistic social shell for the time. At home, Christopher's life was surrounded by music and pop culture. Unable to speak, he spent much of his time consuming children's entertainment such as Sesame Street, Care Bears, and Transformers. Bob even purchased a Commodore 64 home computer.
Ah, there you go. That's where he's writing Commodore Basic code.
Sparking Chris's lifelong interest in technology and video games. His father was proud of Chris for being able to operate the personal computer before he could even speak, programming his own games on the console by age 6. Accompanying the Chandlers was their pet dog Patty, who Chris had picked out himself from his Aunt Karina's litter. At this point, his home life wasn't perfect, but it was comfortable. Unfortunately, things would only get worse when he began to attend school. The year was 1987, when he was dropped at the front door of Greene County Primary School. With Chris's struggles to communicate, this marked the beginning of many obstacles he'd have to overcome in his academic career. In spite of this, Bob was optimistic. In order to inspire his son, he penned a heartfelt letter detailing his expectations.
The reason for this open letter to you, which will grow as time goes on, is that I know now that I, at best, haven't much time left to share myself with you, particularly to share my things, my dreams, and my thoughts with you at a time in the future when you will be able to understand. Remember to use my
Yes, you're 100% right, Jeffer. You're 100% right.
things and carry on my dreams if you want to.
A distinct characteristic of the letter is that it's written informally. It's meant to be read as if he and Chris were speaking face to face, a clearly intimate discussion. Bob goes on to explain personal matters such as his previous marriages and what he sought to avoid when raising Chris.
I didn't plan my life. I just took it as it came along. I seem to have had no control over it. It always came along with what was right for me. Look at me 8 years ago in 1979, when I was really down and out and ready to cash in my chips with heart problems that I didn't even know about. Your mother, Barbara Ann, helped me through the rough spots, and together we had you. Now I really had something to live for. No better things or events could have happened to me. We've come a long way in the last 8 years. Together we have built a whole new life.
That's Boogie? That just took me a second there.
Life with an exciting set of dreams.
But by far the most important message Bob wanted Chris to take away was the importance of legacy. He recounts the story of how he carelessly broke his late grandfather's straight razor, an item that held great sentimental value to him, and how it caused him to realize the respect he ought to hold for their memories. From this, he hoped his son would cherish any future inherited belongings he might be given by his father, such as his prize stamp collection.
Do not be in such a hurry to use, play, or work with these things. First, learn all about them, how to use them and enjoy them, their value, and how you can thoughtlessly waste their value, then enjoy them as I have. As a boy, my greatest dream was to have inherited things from my mother, father, grandparents, etc. All of my books, stamp collections, and records. My dreams for you, your mother, and other personal things.
This idealized new life he wished to build with Chris and Barbara would culminate in the backyard of the Chandlers' house. In 1989, Bob created a plaque and placed it on their backyard shed, proclaiming it as the dreaming studio of Mr. C and Little C. It's here that he'd attempt to teach Chris how to create things. Evidently, the dreaming studio didn't last long enough to make a true impact on Chris though, because in spite of the clear sentimental value Bob placed on his belongings, Chris would later sell his father's cherished stamp collection in 2017.
Jesus.
Using the profits to purchase.
And look at that like-dislike ratio.
toys. While on the subject of games, when examining the Chandler's Christmas of 1989, it can be discovered that Christopher received a Nintendo Game Boy from Santa, his second ever video game console. It was that same year that the young boy purportedly began speaking again, with the help of his speech therapist. By age 7, Chris had defied the professional's original expectations of him, an accomplishment that he'd wear with pride for the rest of his academic career. Soon after regaining his voice, for unknown reasons, Christopher was transferred from Greene County Primary School to Nathaniel Greene Elementary to attend the 4th grade. Although he was still riding off the success of regaining his speaking abilities, the administrators at this new school were not as impressed. While we'll never know for sure what happened there, legal documents indicate that the district had attempted to place him at a separate special education school, a decision that Bob and Barbara fought tooth and nail. It's speculated that they felt Chris's recent successes proved he didn't need the accommodations. Additionally, given their advanced age, they likely had a
I guess because they were pissed off. Why are the dislikes so high on that video? Because I guess they were pissed off that he was selling his dad's collection.
different perception of special ed than what was offered at the time. Regardless, the parents escalated the conflict. Chris recounts his experience at the school as one of frequent physical abuse, notoriously recalling an incident in which 5 facility members, including the school principal, pinned him down to the floor and recorded his cries on an audio cassette tape. Chris attributes this alleged assault to having been motivated by lust, going so far as to accuse the principal of being a pedo. He claims that the man had him sit on his lap before whispering quote-unquote offensive things to the young child. However, given the detail that the alleged assault was recorded, some have speculated it's much more likely that Chris had thrown a tantrum, and facility members recorded his cries as evidence that he couldn't function in a mainstream institution. Upon learning of the incident, Bob filed legal action against the administration, causing Chris to be homeschooled during the proceedings. The case was eventually dropped in 1994. At this point, with the young boy's mainstream enrollment still in jeopardy, Bob and Chris moved to Chesterfield County so they could legally attend a different school district. This forced Bob to retire, becoming a stay-at-home father. In order to continue working her job, Barbara remained at their home in Ruckersville, though she would come to visit them every weekend. The decision to keep Chris in public school is perhaps the single most
No wonder why he's so fucked up, man.
significant turning point regarding his early development. The failure to provide accommodations for his special needs led to feelings of ostracization and appeared to hinder Chris's social development. Jumping forward to the Christmas season of 1992, Bob and Chris made a stop at the Regency Square Mall. At this shopping center was an animatronic creature named Leonard Bearstein, who conducted a symphony orchestra.
That's not always true. It just sounds like Chris's family had a lot of issues, and then on top of it, he had autism. You know, it's a combination to create the perfect storm of what we sadly now know as Chris Chan, you know?
As part of a musical program. The animatronic was designed to be interactive, engaging with the audience in conversation through its human operator. The crowd was light that Thursday afternoon, causing Christopher to be able to have a largely one-on-one conversation with the robot between songs. Chris was spellbound, leading him and Bob to watch the performance for the next hour. In the midst of their conversation, Leonard Bearstein asked Christopher for his name. When Chris responded, the operator must have misheard him, as he began referring to the child as Christian. Following that interaction, the mistake stuck, with Chris.
I mean, the one thing I could say ageism it applies with here is that they had no idea what Chris Chan was doing. They didn't understand the internet. They didn't understand how to stop him. And from what I've heard, they were also against bringing him to therapy, which I don't understand for the life of it. Life of me, I mean. I like to point out that Chris has actually been confirmed to have been moved to a mental health, which makes sense. That's where Chris Chan should be.
Chris going so far as to request his name be changed from Christopher to Christian.
A mental
Oddly
health.
enough, Bob and Barbara agreed and had it legally changed the following year. With this brand new first name bestowed upon him by an animatronic bear, the now adolescent boy continued his education at Providence Middle School in the fall of 1993. He later described this campus as being much more pleasant than Nathaniel Green, and attributes his happiness there to a teacher named Mrs. Sanford, who is to date the only educator that Chris has singled out favorably. She helped the child develop social skills and instructed him on how to cope with the verbal bullying he endured. Upon his graduation from Providence, Mrs. Sanford wrote a personal letter addressed to Chris, in which she gave him heartfelt advice and bid her well wishes.
If you show people where your weak points are located, then they will know how to push your button. If you never show them, they will never know. Do your very best at Manchester, put your best foot forward, and treat others as you wish to be treated. Love, Mrs. Sanford.
16-bit arcade graphics.
What's up, Wolf Spider?
Of all the pop culture movements in the 90s, one of the most prominent was the mascot with attitude trend, and the most notable example of this was Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog. Debuting in 1991, the Blue Blur is most notable for his extreme speed. Made specifically to appeal to Western markets, the character was a massive success, quickly receiving his own syndicated Saturday morning cartoon in 1993. To promote the release of this new TV series, Sega hosted a contest known as the Sonic the Hedgehog Watch and Win Sweepstakes, in which they challenged viewers to write down what Sonic
I think I actually remember that airing.
said at the end of each episode. Upon mailing in their
You'll understand how this ties into Sonic the Hedgehog for those of you who don't know the lore of Chris Chan.
transcriptions, they would then be entered into a drawing, where they'd have a chance to win a $1,000 shopping spree at KB Toys. As an early adopter of the Sonic craze, Christian entered the contest, and as luck would have it, when the winners were selected in February of 1994, he actually won.
To do was exactly what
I've seen this
Sonic
before.
a cartoon, and I'd listen to what Sonic says at the end of it and write it down
God, Chris Chan still talks the same, man.
for a whole week, and then I had to mail it in, and I had to be drawn out of a hat, and I just won.
This victory marked the beginning of Christian's obsession with Sonic, who would go on to become his professed lifelong hero. And after the high of this spending spree, it wouldn't be the last time he entered a contest. By the spring of 1996, the family was once again together as Barbara retired from her job to live with her husband and son in Chesterfield County. This wouldn't last long, however, as according to Chris, some of their neighbors began spreading harmful rumors regarding the family. While what happened has never been specified,
Yeah, it has been a long weekend, but worth it though. It's been a long weekend.
the situation was apparently vitriolic enough to cause them to relocate to an apartment complex just outside of Richmond. But being immersed in his pop culture pastimes,
I bet you it was because they were hoarders.
Chris was largely unfazed by these developments. It was that September that Christian finally began his first year at Manchester High.
Because if you see some of the videos, not when they went into the house, it seemed like Chris Chan cleaned up before GamerFromMars went there, and it was still messy but tolerable. But like when Chris Chan showed videos back in the day, holy shit, man! Oh Jesus, your uncle went there for a more heinous act. Okay, well, okay then.
A period he would retrospectively deem the happiest times of his life. At this school is where the creation of his very first Sonic the Hedgehog fan character, Bionic the Hedgehog, was conceived. Spending much of his freshman year as a water boy for the varsity basketball team, he came up with the character after being hit in the head with a basketball while he was daydreaming about Sega's gaming mascot. It is rather fittingly an orange recolor of Sonic that likes to play sports. This 9th grade year would also mark the beginning of his passive love quest, developing a major crush on a cheerleader he'd met during practice. After
Oh no.
After befriending the young lady, he quickly confessed that he had feelings for her, to which she politely turned him down. In contrast to his time at Providence, Chris's years at Manchester High were filled with far more conflict. In sophomore year, Christian was forcibly assigned to take the special education bus after a petty conflict with another student. According to Chris, he and another teen would race every day to see who could exit the vehicle first. This competition escalated, eventually culminating in the boy punching Chris in order to beat him out the door. However,
I would get a current gen iPad. Pretty sure it's more powerful, even the base model. Not sure exactly what chip was in the... Yeah, it's definitely more powerful.
like many of Chris's recollections from this period, what actually occurred is rather unclear. Across his
90s
various
is all about
recountings
the
of the
bowl
bus
haircuts.
incident, Chris has contradicted himself numerous times. He claimed that he both did and didn't fight back, and also went back and forth on whether or not his glasses had been broken. What has remained consistent, however, is his adamance that he was blameless. He bemoaned that in spite of instigating the fight, the other boy quote-unquote got off scot-free. Regardless of the truth, it was because of this
Everyone, I don't think I ever had the bowl cut though. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I had a mullet though.
conflict that he was removed from the mainstream busing system and forced to ride with who he rudely described as...
If anything, I would get the, you know, it would be nice, and I have one, I know it's nice, the iPad mini, the newest one. USB-C, has the same chip as the iPhone 13 in there. Yes, he does. He eats a Mexicali Blue every day.
as the slow in the minds. At this point, it's worth discussing Chris's particular distaste towards the developmentally disabled, one that illustrates the ableist.
Works with the Apple Pen as well. Yeah, I like the iPad mini.
Instilled in him by his parents. It's clear at this...
Yeah, but what the... Like, are you... If you... But you can even do 4K video editing with the iPad mini. And it's not that I'm trying to see... You could buy whatever the hell iPad you want. I'm just saying, like... Most cases, what are you going to really... Now, a laptop, that's different. You're going to do a ton of video editing, a ton of content creation. But on the iPad, are you really going to use the M1? If you are, then great. There are plenty of reasons you are. But if you're not, and you're just going to watch porn on it and some YouTube videos and play some games, then you don't have to get the M1 version. Why did I... Who needs an applause for that? Who the fuck needs an applause? Terrence Williams eats ass. Congratulations.
Sage, Chris uncritically took the words of authority figures to heart. In what are typically the years of rebellion for most teens, Chris was remarkably obedient. This can be observed rather transparently in his first self-produced video titled Song of Christian. In this clip, Chris goes on multiple tangents about grievances he holds with.
I've never seen his first video. Why am I yawning? I'm pulling a keep that same energy, just like Crap Gamer. Oh, good. You can play Ghostwire Tokyo, or will you want to play it? I don't know. Do you know?
His peers, such as their use of vulgar language.
Of course, you're not talking about those despicable, rude words they got there. I mean, they're all boop and son of a boop. You understand what I'm talking about?
You got your video copy struck. It's funny how he'll copyright strike your video. He won't copyright strike mine, though. He shouldn't copyright strike any. I mean, I didn't see your video. Did you just, like, mirror his video and put, like, text in the beginning? Or did you actually make a video? If you actually made a video, then, yeah, he's just bullying you.
I mean, that just really ticks me off. But you should never, ever do. I mean, it's just rude. Very rude. I mean, I'm just sick of it. I mean, yeah.
This would only be the start of Chris's self-produced recordings.
It's Alvin and the Chipmunks. Let's give him a big hand.
Chris Chan's best content was filmed on a webcam for his PlayStation 3. I think it was the iToy or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, return when you do like that, boy. You get it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Hello. My name
name is Barbara Chandler, and I'm calling to request a song for my husband for his birthday.
No kidding.
His name is Bob Chandler, and he's 71 years old today.
No kidding.
And the song I would like to request is A Bushel and a Peck.
Bushel and a peck, I hug around the neck for a 71-year-old.
Yeah, he was 54. That is old to have a kid. Some people will say 40 is old to have a kid.
Man.
I think so.
As Christian entered his junior year, the maturity...
Yes, I kind of agree to start having kids at 40 is a little old, but not insane. 54? Jesus.
One would expect from a high school student didn't seem to be developing. In a mock radio broadcast Chris recorded for fun, his mother humors him as if he's a child, while he pretends to have guests such as Alvin and the Chipmunks on the program. Of his time at Manchester High, 11th grade has the most documentation. Recovered assignments illustrate how he performed at school, and the actual quality of his work against
Yes, I remember that very well. SNK.
the grades he received. One of the first leaked projects is dated October 29th, 1998. Intended to be an icebreaker activity for his chemistry class, Chris notably refused to talk to any male students, leaving all their spaces blank. In spite of his woes of loneliness, things weren't entirely hopeless. It was in that class he would become lab partners with two female students, Kelly Andes and Sarah Bevel. They would be some of his first quote-unquote gal pals, a term Chris later coined to describe all of his female friends. Chris has reasoned that his autism test found that he got along better with women rather than men. Chris's gal pals would make up the entirety of his social...
Yeah, but the problem is that Chris Chan would fall in love with him, but they said hello to him. That was the thing. That's what made him weird.
Life throughout high school, to varying degrees of sincerity. Perhaps the most earnest of these was Tiffany Gowan, who sat with Christian every day during lunch. It's worth noting that during this time, Chris was extremely naive on relationships and sex. He apparently was unaware of the idea of dating until he turned 21, a testament to his shelteredness. Evidently, the sit-down talk of puberty never came. But where Chris's parents failed, entertainment took its place, a trend that would be recurrent throughout his life. As Chris recalls, after unlocking the parental controls on his television, he accidentally came across a suggestive scene in a film and had his first erection. Part of the known curriculum, Chris...
What? I just have to hear GamerFromMars say his first erection again.
Where Chris's parents failed, entertainment took its place, a trend that would be recurrent throughout his life. As Chris recalls, after unlocking the parental controls on his television, he accidentally came across a suggestive scene in a film and had his first erection.
Well, okay then. I know Art had to laugh probably saying that shit. Because you had to sit down and record that, like, you know, like Chris Chan was like, hey, that's, you know, when I had my first boner. One day I'll write a movie about you. It'll be you against the Sinister Six RTU edition. It's made up of DSP, Chris Chan, Wings, Quantum, The Quartering, and Keemstar. Quantum is... Ugh. Yeah, I would say he's the biggest piece of shit there because Chris Chan is insane. Yes, the guy, she or they did something horrific to their mother, arguably if the worst thing on the internet. But I don't even know if Chris Chan doesn't know if they're coming or going. Quantum wants to see an entire community of people dead. I mean, and the quartering and the quartering Keemstar could just be dicks. At least personally with me, the quartering has done shadier shit than Keemstar. Keemstar just doesn't like me because of stuff from the past, which whatever. I don't really fucking give a shit.
Part of the known curriculum Chris took that year was a cooking class, evidenced by recovered kitchen safety worksheets he'd completed. In an assignment titled Safety First, he notes, "What could happen if you plug too many appliances into one outlet? It could start a fire." Christian also took child development classes, which included the activity of simulated parenthood. This is done through a variety of different methods.
Look at that stash.
Be it an interactive infant doll, or in Chris's case, an empathy belly. An attachable pregnancy stomach meant to enable students to understand the effects of carrying a child.
The belly made it uncomfortable for me to cross my legs, and when my legs were separated, it put pressure on my private part, which gave me a strange, weird feeling.
Who is that? Is that Boogie again?
So, it was quite an experience while I had a belly like a pregnant woman.
Despite bizarrely admitting to the teacher that the device gave him an erection, he still received...
Why did wearing a pregnancy belly give him a fucking erection? Why? Next they're gonna be, well, I saw a watermelon on my kitchen table and it gave me an erection, so I decided to cut a hole in it and oh, of course he would do. Of course he would do something like that. I've unfortunately seen this man have intercourse with a blow-up doll. I have seen Gavin McInnes running naked on a beach, and it's not that I looked for it. It was just like, oh, let me just scroll down Gavin McInnes. He's a fucking weirdo. Let me scroll down. Oh, there's his cock. There is his cock. Story of my life. Just dicks everywhere around me. I don't know enough about butters, but possibly.
Received a perfect 30 out of 30 grade.
Oh, try to relax your anus.
Try to relax your anus.
Could you imagine aliens would be like, what the fuck is this race?
So tell me, why do you like Pokemon?
I don't know.
You're not sure why you like it, but you do, right?
Yeah.
See, when Pokemon, everyone always asks me, Rich, you were young when Pokemon and Game Boy was still... Like, yeah, I was like 15, 16. As far as I remember when I saw Pokemon, like, blowing up in the States. So I was, you know, I was trying to get drunk at parties and shit at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't worrying about... Like, I missed the Pokemon train by a few years. But knowing my personality and the games I liked back then, if I wasn't punching someone in the face or Castlevania... I did love Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, but Pokemon wouldn't have interested me anyway.
In 1990...
Yeah, well, I'm old. You were 5. I'm old as fuck, so I was out getting drunk in like at 16.
The first ever entries in the Pokemon franchise were released to the Game Boy in Japan and quickly evolved into a pop culture phenomenon. Within the first 2 years...
Not 15. 16, 17. 16, 17, not 15. There were, but there were people fucking doing coke and shit in my class at like 14, 15, man. You kidding? I was like a late bloomer I only drank, and I didn't even try weed until I was in college. I have no interest. I don't ever want to do a fucking line or anything. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't see Gavin's anus. Oh, I saw another dick too. Another giant dick. The guy I work with at Filene's. He was like a shorter, skinnier, I don't know, maybe Mr. Rogers did, but a smellier Mr. Rogers. And then it was the day before 9/11, and I saw him at the gym. He turned around, and his dick almost knocked me the fuck out. Probably. Taco Boy, absolutely.
Years of its
and Chris Chan would probably make a killing if he did. Or she did.
Debut, the franchise received its own...
Bro, dude, that dude's dick, not Chris Chan. That dude's dick could fucking... Yo, it was like, when he get hard, he could probably hit a baseball bat at a Shea Stadium. Review Schlongs USA, basically.
is getting Grandpa excited.
Trading card game and anime series. And it wasn't long after this merchandising boom that the phenomenon began taking over the West. Due to the series' popularity, in 1998, the Pokemon TV show made its debut in the United States, with the games following soon after. It's unknown exactly when Chris discovered Pokemon, but when he did, he...
You know what? He isn't a bad-looking dude. You know, and with his autism seems like it was more severe than I think he let on. I think if his parents were more on top of it, and like I said, allegedly, I have to say, I heard they were against therapy for him, things could have turned out different. I mean, hey, I'm all for LGBT. He very well may have transitioned to a woman anyway. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is, well, they wouldn't have raped their mother. I mean, that would be nice for that to not happen. I actually tried to get Chris Chan on a live stream. Never happened, though, shockingly.
Immersed himself with the universe almost as deeply as Sonic. At the same time as the Poke craze, Chris was taking Spanish classes in high school, where he often incorporated his love of video games into assignments. In a project dated February 8th, 1999, Chris illustrates his Spanish vocabulary by translating the names of characters from both Sonic the Hedgehog and Pokemon. This would be his earliest known reference to the franchise. It was this same month that Chris Chan would celebrate his 17th birthday. To commemorate, he produced a drawing of his character, Bionic the Hedgehog, holding a flag proclaiming, "I fought my autism, and I won." It was also that day that he would produce Espanolic. This character would later become one of the first entries in his line of original.
And you know what's sad too is, I'm not trying to be all warm and fuzzy inside, is that Chris Chan is a creative guy. You know, and now he was a guy back then, now she could have done something with it, you know? If they were allowed to focus on it with the proper upbringing and therapy. And therapy is important, man. Mental illness is a real thing. Another example of it, you know? Obviously not the deranged stuff like Sonichu, like Blunt more. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if it was focused in the right direction. You get what I mean? Exactly, Ganadark. That's what I'm saying. I mean, shit, if he marketed the goddamn Sonichu the right way with how all the notoriety around it, could have made money off of that. Serious. Am I wrong? It's like DSP with the fapping shirts, man. If he had a shirt of his face busting a nut, he'd be driving a Lamborghini paid in cash. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this stuff for Sonichu. That's nutso. I'm not out of my mind. But you could see there's a creative spark there that if therapy and proper parenting were there. I mean, again, I don't know when I'm behind closed doors, and this is one documentary that we're watching. You know, there's 80 sides to every story, and maybe Chris did have a proper upbringing, and unfortunately due to his issues, but it doesn't seem like it from various places I keep hearing that from. But again, that's word of mouth. I wasn't a fly on Chris Chan's wall, which seeing the inside of his fucking house, there was probably a lot of those there. Yeah, be easy. It helps. That's what I'm saying. Mental illness is a real thing. This is look at my dog. And like I said before, yes, I screw up Chris Chan's pronouns, but the LGBT community disowns him because they all think that Chris Chan became a woman or transitioned simply because he was trying to actually get some pussy. From everyone I've talked to who's transgender, they all think that. No one buys Chris Chan's transition. I haven't heard a single transgender person that does.
Pokemon cards, eventually amassing enough to create an entire Pokedex, which he dubbed the Wall of Originals. Of these homemade cards, standouts include Chikachu, a female Pikachu who can only deal damage when accompanied by a boyfriend, Flashbulb, a flashlight Pokemon, CompuFrog, a frog made from computer code, and of course we can't forget Plotistic, a plant that's on the spectrum. As Chris could
No, I haven't. That may be something we'll look into. That may be video, like not video worthy, but stream worthy. DM me that on Twitter. Here's the best way. I don't check that email because I'm an idiot. I'm going to get rid of the email and the Twitter. Just DM me on Twitter at @TheRealRT. I want more followers there anyway. I want to try to hit 100,000 followers on there. It'll probably take me. I can't even get to 990,000 subs on Twitter. I gain new subs and lose new subs every day. I'm trying to get to 100,000, or on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 100,000 on Twitter. Hold my breath.
Continued to express his fascination with the Pokemon franchise, he soon created the first version of Quick's Pokesite. CWC are the initials of Christian's full name, which he is unusually proud of.
Yeah, 1,100 people here tonight, probably because I'm talking about Chris Chan.
Due to its ability to be pronounced as Quick. This webpage would only last a few months before being replaced in July by Chris's second, more amateurish Pokesite developed entirely in Notepad. Entering his final year of high school, Chris began this last hurrah by writing a short Pokemon fanfiction. Titled How the Pokemon Came Into Our Pokeballs, it was...
I don't know why that's funny, because deep down I'm fucking 12.
Completed for an English assignment asking students to invent their own myth. Unlike his previous writings, his English teacher actually enjoyed this one. Sometime this same year, Chris also began volunteering at the local Books A Million as an assistant gym leader for their Pokemon trading card league. His staffing role was captured in a
Yo, Art, you got to use that AI software I have on my phone for the old low-res pics, man. It definitely makes a huge difference, and it doesn't look like a cheesy Monet painting. I got to hook up Art. I'm going to send him a link after this. Did you see all the Destiny YouTubers getting copied? Even Bungie, even the ones that just read weekly. Why? What happened? What algorithm change happened? Isn't it fun? I love our broken copyright system. It's great.
Segments by...
The app is... Now, I have the premium version because it gives you, like, when you because it gives you, like, 3 different options, because sometimes the AI messes up with the basic option. It's called Remini, R-E-M-I-N-I. So if you want to pay for it, it's worth it. Yeah, it is sad, man. It is sad. And especially we know how this whole story ends now, too.
Richmond NBC affiliate WWBT, showcasing him dressed up at the store as Ash Ketchum.
I'll put out my Dragonair, even though it has 60 damage on it. Oh boy. And now it has 3 energy on it. Slam attack.
With the end of the millennia, Christian was the same as he'd ever been. In fact, his obsession with the media was only worsening. He seemingly began showcasing his Pokesite around school.
Yeah, she had too much plastic surgery now, Leo Remini. I always thought she was hot too, and I see her now. Looks artificial, dude. I don't know. Fun Explore Games, thank you for the super chat.
With various teachers and friends signing his guest book. February of his senior year would be an especially productive month for Christian Weston Chandler. That Valentine's Day, he published a poem to commemorate the event, titled Valentine's Day Hymn. While a cheerful celebration of another couple's love, this attitude would not last. Just a few days after this, Chris celebrated his 18th birthday. In attendance...
No, he would probably try to actually shove the bird up his ass for sexual arousal. Bro, you don't understand. Chris Chan, maybe he brings it. Art has already talked about him achieving an erection several times. He would drink his own sperm in soda, I believe, because he thought it was wasteful to just masturbate. Maybe I'm saying, like, he drank his own sperm in some way, shape, or form. It was on Opie and Anthony. I'm shitting you not. So, you don't... This is why this Chris Chan's so notorious, man.
Were Chris's parents, his stepbrother, and his gal pals from school. One of the only times Chris would interact with them outside of class. He would later reminisce on this being one of the
Oh God, you could see he's thirsty in his face right there. Oh no. Oh no.
best days of his life. With high school soon coming to a close, this seemed like a great memory to end this chapter of Chris's life on. But it would turn out...
Yeah, he called it recycling. Yep, he called it recycling.
He still had one more trick up his sleeve. In March, Christian was instructed to create an album cover as an assignment for his computer graphics class. One of the restrictions, however, was that students could not use any copyrighted materials. Given his obsession with pop culture, which bled into everything he produced, Chris struggled with the project's requirement of originality. This was when he had an epiphany. In order to circumvent the copyrights held by Sega and Nintendo, Christian invented Sonic-Chu, a hybrid of the characters Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog. He recalls imagining the character after lunch on that fateful day of March 17th.
I drew Sonic-Chu on paper from imagination.
Is this Boogie again? Is this Boogie again?
Then I drew him on...
Oh, Sonic-Chu. Sorry, I had to message something to my editor.
currently open Photoshop program. After checking with Miss Chalifo and my father, who is big on copyrights and whatnot, Sonic-Chu was legal then and still is, and only mine. So, soon after, the CD cover
Reviews
was
from
made,
here on out, that has to
printed,
happen.
and passed
Absolutely.
with an A+ grade.
Upon this hybrid character's inception, things would never be the same.
What's
now
up,
with his
Kong
own
Bang?
quote-unquote original creation, Sonic-Chu took...
Oh yeah, if you want another piece of advice, if you make a video and you have the time to caption it, or if you want to pay a company to caption it, a legitimate one, do it. Because it makes a huge difference in the algorithm. The algorithm likes captioned, not auto-captioned, actual captioned videos.
Took the forefront of all of his creative endeavors. The next month, he created a Sonic-Chu sweatshirt and gave it to one of his gal pals as a birthday gift. He also began producing dozens of Sonic-Chu variant Pokemon cards. 5 months after this, he even launched a Sonic-Chu site to succeed his Pokesite. And it wasn't long after that, he began drawing short comics featuring his mascot. In May, Chris attended his school's senior...
I actually, yeah. Captions are a big deal. Even this video, I bet it would have helped. I mean, the video's doing well. I'm guarantee you this will hit 1 million views for art. But if there was captions, it would make an even bigger difference. And my editor has a piece of software. I was talking to him. I'll message him after again, where it could caption for you and you could just kind of go through it and tweak it. It's a big deal.
Prom with his mother. Upon arriving, one of his gal pals saw this and felt sorry for him. So she asked him for a dance.
To be one with my crowd, I bought a pair of tickets, but I went there with my mother.
I'm sure that Art paid someone to draw these.
But then I realized I was still an outcast because I stood out more like a lonesome wallflower. But that night, my trusted peppermint patty type gal pal, Tiffany Gowan...
My trusted peppermint, yes, that is something that Chris Chan would say.
Asked me to dance with her. I hesitated at first, but she grabbed my hand and pulled me onto the dance floor.
Yeah.
We danced for what felt like...
I mean, look, it's different. Chris Chan was autistic, but if you're not autistic, don't bring your mom to the dance. But it's a little bit different.
Hours.
In April, the 18-year-old began a self-documentary project for class titled A Week with Christian Chandler. It provides valuable insight to everyday life during those high school years, as he admits to falling asleep in classes on a regular basis. It also notes...
I remember one of my first college classes, I fell asleep every day, and I got like a 4.0 on it. And it was open book tests, and it had nothing to do with what I was going to college for. Open book test. All you had to do was just bring the book with you when she gave the test out. It was like the most zero effort class, and I just slept every day in it.
Notes that he attends
I don't know what made me think of that right now. I have no idea.
Several behavioral adjustment programs and proceeds to document several of his creations. Most notable is the City Room, which is an early version of what would later be known as Quickfill. It is a miniature city made from the pieces of Chris's various Lego kits and other memorabilia. It was here that he revealed that his family was moving back to their house in Ruckersville. According to Chris, his parents had failed to sell the home and would have stayed in Richmond had they succeeded. On June 15th, Christian graduated from Manchester High School. In spite of placing on the honor roll, for Chris the celebration was not ceremonious. Before receiving their diplomas, an award ceremony was held to recognize the school's gifted students. Chris became jealous after not being given an award for his art class assignments.
During the early award ceremony, I was a little thrilled to get a star for my grades. But then I find out that I am outshined in my creative skills because those people do not appreciate the time and effort I took into making Sonichu. I was a high-functioning autistic boy who came way beyond out of his social shell, only to get
it's definitely Boogie. He sounds like Francis.
zilch, nada, sip, a big fat zero.
When it came time to actually receive his diploma, Chris went up without making eye contact with anyone, going so far as to slap away the presenter's hand when they reached out for a congratulatory handshake.
Jesus, really?
He then ran off and found a table isolated enough to cry alone. It wasn't simply jealousy that had overwhelmed him that day, but rather the realization he was leaving behind the quote, best circle of friends he ever had. As mentioned before, Chris seldom hung out with his gal pals outside of high school. And
no matter who it is, if you think you peaked in high school, I feel so bad for you. It doesn't matter. Christian, male, female. Don't peak at high. If you think the best days of your life are in high school, you're missing out on life. Period.
And the end of his time at Manchester.
Well, you can't call him a baby. He has autism. When you have autism, the brain doesn't work the same way. But you know,
largely meant the end of his social life as he knew it. The high school graduation has since become a.
I know people who are my age, 40, fucking or late 30s, 40. Still trying to, they still think that they're like 18 and banging like the cheerleaders in high school. Like, dude, it's over. Like, I get it. That was your peak. I understand, but it's over. Time to move on, Sheep. Time to pack it up. Graduation was in 1999 or 2000, depending on your class. It's over. Wu-Tang Forever came out in 97. It's not still on the Billboard charts.
Point of trauma for Chris, as he felt it marked the end of the best years of his life. The thing is, what he remembers from his high school years is an extremely romanticized version of events that didn't include the manipulation those around him participated in to help him make it through. He fondly recalls being an honor roll student, though teachers often gave him higher grades than he probably deserved. He liked to see himself as an engaged pupil, though slept through many of his classes. He had friendships, but they always seemed to end when the bell rang. Speaking of
yeah, they were pity friendships because they knew he had autism.
Friends, let's take for example one of Chris's gal pals from middle school, the girl next door who would often hang out with him at the bus stop and near their home. Chris interpreted their time together as genuine camaraderie, when in fact she had been paid by Bob to essentially babysit him. On top of this, there has been speculation that his father had a meeting with the principal of Manchester High, which resulted in school staff bringing together upstanding girls in Chris's grade to befriend and protect him from the horrors of high school, meaning that the gal pals were also a result of behind-the-scenes meddling by his parents. Perhaps what makes this period of life so mesmerizing to Chris is that it was a time of innocence, when he was still largely getting away with being oblivious to the world. An era where his parents could still feasibly shelter him as he developed an over-reliance on children's entertainment to compensate. And no matter how superficial the relationships were, they still were friendships to him. His gal pals
and he didn't know the difference. You know what I mean? He had no idea. Chris Chan's too disconnected to understand the difference, you know?
Were the one thing standing between Chris and solitude. After high school, as Chris had guessed, he'd lose.
Be interesting to see what you guys think of my voiceover work for the Wii U video. I got all that done. Be interesting to see what you think.
Contact with them, but most could have never guessed how far he would descend into isolation. The weather was dark and rainy that graduation day as the now adult Chris sobbed by himself in his graduation gown. When Barbara and Tiffany found him, they comforted the emotional young man. His father, however, was less forgiving with how his son had behaved. Perhaps he read the writing on the wall then and there and realized the futility of his family's future.
Oh no. Damn, he started way back. Oh, he's using a Game Boy camera. No. Has to be what it is.
Now out of high school, Chris finally had the independence that's afforded to adults. With his free time, Chris began volunteering as an assistant Pokemon gym leader at the local Toys R Us trading card club in Charlottesville. According to first-hand accounts, he often attempted to use his homemade Pokemon cards in regular play, which were unbalanced and overpowered. Christian also launched SonicChew.com, though it was largely neglected. His family, now back under the same roof, began attending the newly established Grace Baptist Church, and in August, Chris began his first year at Piedmont, Virginia Community College. He was set to graduate with an associate's degree in 2 years. With all of his high school friends left behind, Chris found solace in his artwork.
I'd love to be in a college class with him.
And that winter crafted his very first, now iconic, Sonic Chew medallion using Crayola model magic. Originally decorated with a makeshift chain, this was later replaced with a higher quality necklace he'd bought from the mall. The medallion was intended to serve as a name tag, something that would help him stand out in public. And that December, Chris designed a companion character for Sonic Chew named Rose Chew, a rather blatant derivative of the Sonic character Amy Rose. In August of 2001, Christian began working his first and to date only conventional job. He was hired at the
Oh yeah, I couldn't see Chris Chan, especially working with the public like there's no way.
Local Wendy's, but had a difficult time maintaining this employment, only lasting approximately a month and a half before being fired. Unlike high school, the employees at the fast food chain were critical of him and made their frustrations known in a very patronizing manner. The exact circumstances of which he was fired are unclear, though there are 2 incidents often credited as being the last straw. The first claims that Chris was terminated for drawing a picture of an older female coworker as a Pokemon, which they found deeply offensive. The second excuse that Chris told himself involved his attempts to entertain a little boy with his parents, where he performed an impression of the character Donald Duck. This scared the child, causing him to cry. It's approximated that Chris earned around $500 from his employment at Wendy's. In June of 2002, he stopped volunteering as a Pokemon gym leader at the local Toys R Us, opting to play at the locally owned hobby shop known as the Game Place every Friday. As Chris proceeded through college, he began to appreciate all the moments he'd taken for granted back in high school. In February of 2003, he wrote a fond account of his 18th birthday party, a stark contrast to what would happen on his next birthday only 2 weeks later. That year, on his 21st special day, Chris was reading Peter Robinson's Wednesday's Child for an English class. What made this class memorable was that homosexuality had come up during group discussion, something that Chris thought of as revolting at the time due to
I'm telling you, he was really homophobic.
His religious beliefs. As a result, he made derogatory comments towards homosexuals and was promptly told to leave. What exactly was said has never been revealed, but Chris himself described them as quote-unquote exclamations you'd likely hear from a black person in church. Given the punishment, most surmise his assertions must have been rather severe, and after being told to leave, Chris once again sat by himself and cried. The only difference this time was that there was no one there to comfort him. Whether or not Chris outright quit the class by choice or was forced to leave is unclear, but this would set a bad precedent for the rest of his college career. This incident would mark the beginning of a new saga in Chris's life. One that would lead him not to just be eventually expelled from his college entirely, but to infamy. It was that day, right after he was ejected from English class, that he began his love quest. You see,
oh no, here we go.
Since he had no one to console him for the first time in his life, it led
Here
Chris
we
to
go.
realize that he should pursue a romantic relationship to fill the now empty hole in his emotional support network. But to discover his soulmate and perhaps even one day bear his child, he had to go back to the drawing board. Throughout April of 2003, Chris began depicting romance using his Sonichu characters. He created the Hedgehogs in Love Pokemon card before quickly succeeding it with the short story Sonichu and Rosechu, the genesis of the Lovehogs. The story ends with Sonichu and Rosechu gazing at the moon before locking eyes and sharing a passionate kiss. But it wasn't until August that his desperation for intimacy began to materialize in the real world. As Chris entered his 4th year at the 2-year community college, he officially began his search for a sweetheart. Rather than ask them out directly though, that month, Chris made his first attraction sign to get the attention of a boyfriend-free girl. On it, the romantically challenged action sign to get the attention of a boyfriend-free girl. On it, the romantically challenged man describes not just himself, but also the qualities he wished for his
You said romantically
significant other.
21 and single white male. Shy, smart, young at heart, computer skilled, humorous, a
Boogie
bright
does kind
thinker
of sound like
and
him right
go-getter,
now.
enjoys good parts of life, diplomatic.
Boyfriend-free girl, not single. Boyfriend, and he meant it. That wasn't him. It wasn't a Tim and Eric skit. This world is a simulation, pretty much.
Peaceful, very creative.
Astacross put up a video explaining Destiny Strikes. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'll check that out too.
He's lonely. Seeking a cute 18 to 21 single female.
Yes, because nothing brings the women in better than saying you're lonely. That just makes them just want to just... they're just standing in the line waiting for you. Oh, there's worse of him too.
Companion
Fat Mario Head
who
Gaming.
is 18 to 21 years of age and does not already have a boyfriend. Average to slender, body type, white, lives in the Charlottesville or Ruckersville area, does not smoke or drink alcohol,
Makes it like it's a fucking... He's looking for a model of a car.
happy, positive personality, average or high income, drives a vehicle. If any
Average or
man
high
re-
income. Oh, she's taking care of him. He's looking for a sugar mama. Ladies.
This huge sign, mind your own business. And to all men with girlfriends, except married and blacks, go jump off a cliff.
No! Did he really say that?
Have a nice day.
For the next 2
Oh my god. I'm noticing he's racist. Holy fuck.
months, Chris would tape the sign to the wall of the college's lobby, often waiting somewhere beside it. However, his plans would be thwarted when on October 7th, Mary Lee Walsh, the Dean of Student Services, approached him, confiscated his sign, and bluntly told him to stop. Chris
Imagine putting up that sign at a college and meaning it.
Interpreted her authoritative command as very violent, claiming she had exclaimed, "You're not allowed to find true love here." Determined, Chris stubbornly created another attraction sign, only for Mary to confiscate it again a few weeks later. This temporarily led Chris to return to venting his frustrations into his art, at least for the next few months. In November, Chris wrote a poem titled "The Saddest Heart in the World."
And with the Backstreet Boys tune, I sing my lonesome croon. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage.
Tell me why I'm stuck with the virgin. I shouldn't laugh at this because this is like where the primordial soup of the monster began, but a virgin with rage. I know. Tell me
why I so...
That's literally an incel. That's as incel as you get.
Need a cute girl my age.
I mean, yeah, it is sad, but it's kind of like, because it's not like it's not a Tim and Eric skit. It's kind of like it's frightening but funny. Does that make sense?
Tell me why I ain't ever wanna hear you say I have a boyfriend.
I wonder how many takes of that book he had to do because he was laughing. He had, I'm sure, like 30.
These lyrics would later be used in the song So Need a Cute Girl, a track from Christian's cover album Christian and the Hedgehog Boys, which
my editor is eating tacos with corn shells made from birds' holes. Yeah, that singing from Boogie was amazing.
he'd begun recording at the end of that summer. This song would later become a massive hit online, with dozens of covers existing
well, of course,
across multiple platforms. But regardless of the quality of his backstory...
Oh, you were reading my mind, Andrew Epperson. Good call. I'm sure that there was some nice, wonderful, racist things coming from his parental units.
Street Boys parody, Mary Lee Walsh still had a sign. So to occupy Chris's time, he began investing all of his effort playing the game Animal Crossing. This would eventually culminate into what's now known as his Animal Crossing documentary, an hour-long showcase of his in-game village. This would become one of Christian's greatest accomplishments, as he submitted it to the Nintendo Power magazine and managed to actually get featured. Some claim it was the first Let's Play ever made, though this is difficult to prove. On January 1st, 2004, Chris wrote in his diary about his New Year's resolution to get a romantic partner.
My one resolution is to get myself a matching girlfriend. Rather, it will happen as...
You know at this point that he was power humping pillows. What? That's not... We know he was. I mean, it was during this era he was drinking his own... He was drinking his own... I can't even say it. What is his diary? SCP? I don't even know what that means.
I plan to try again at PVCC.
And try again he did, with his stubbornness only further escalating the conflict. A few weeks into the new year, he wrote a poem titled Hard Love Quest, in which he once again laments being quote-unquote a virgin with rage. Christian's frustration with his lack of romantic success was ever growing. And this new effort to overcome Mary Lee Walsh at PVCC meant trying new strategies. Instead of restraining himself to just carrying signs, the college student now began repurposing his Sonic2 newsletter into a means of attracting boys.
Yo, did you see that there was a guy that was at a Starbucks just like, oh, people were standing in line trying to get coffee. He was just literally with his dick out jerking off? I don't know what made me think, probably because him. But I was just like, people were just like, dude, what are you doing filming it? Like, what are you doing? Stop. He's like, nah. And you just sitting there stroking his dick.
Boyfriend-free girls. From this point forward,
they had to chase him and tase him, too.
Every newsletter would end with a description of his ideal sweetheart. He includes this disclaimer.
Christian is a very...
We gotta watch that. You don't see anything. I could show it on the stream. It's a ridiculous. I don't even want to say what the part that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? I can't talk about it because it'll ruin the funniness later.
Shy and very thoughtful person, and will only accept person-to-person encounters, no emails or phone calls. So if you are interested, they can be found around Piedmont, Virginia Community College or Fashion Square Shopping Center.
In addition to passing around photocopies of his pamphlet, he also began hanging up more attraction signs around school, quickly replacing them whenever torn down. In late January, as Chris stood near his sign per usual, Mary Lee Walsh decided that enough was enough. It was finally time to put an end to his disobedience.
Yeah, you can't. I understand he has autism, but you can't have a guy going around saying, "Yo, I'm angry and need to get fucked now." It's not a good look for the campus. This guy named Chris Chan was rubbing his erection against my ass cheek. Oh, well, yeah. Anyone else, we would have had him arrested, but he's Chris Chan, so he just got to just deal with his boner. This chat is curing my hangover.
According to Chris, she approached him.
Yeah, and telling I missed that little detail there. Telling black people to jump off a bridge. Yeah, that was a problem. Little one.
Stating that his posters were bothering both her and the student body. Chris responded that he was on his love quest, prompting her to rip the sign from.
Yeah, but your love quest. But again, why am I even trying to? It's like trying to reason with a brick. What am I doing?
His hands and tear it apart.
And it's a documentary. It's not like I'm talking to Chris Chan.
She then lectured him, stating he would never get a girlfriend this way before demanding that he stop his behavior immediately. She ended the confrontation by scheduling Chris to attend a meeting to discuss the string of incidents. On February 1st, Chris initiated an email exchange with Miss Walsh, attempting to avoid the meeting through a compromise. He promised her that he wouldn't hang any more signs around campus, so long as she allowed him to continue distributing his newsletter. He also assured
it was a guy who was lost, and we combine it together with autism. It's a toxic, dangerous mixture, perfect storm of the disaster that we now know it turned into. And yeah, Taco Boy, there's many. I know people that you wouldn't even know they were autistic. So I don't think he was as functional as he and many other people try to make it out to be. I think combined together with mental illness and allegedly not a great upbringing, it was a recipe for disaster, and here we are.
That he would move her up his scale of respect by 2 points. About 48 hours later, Miss Walsh would unequivocally deny his request, requiring that they meet the following week. While what exactly occurred during this meeting is uncertain, a few key details are known. At one point, Chris talked with Sonic Chew as if he was real, claiming to Miss Walsh that his...
It's like the game dude doing a reenactment of like his altercation with his girlfriend with toy dolls. Or whatever, like G.I. Joe characters. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What even are you doing?
Character communicated through him. This caused the Dean of Students to talk to Chris quote-unquote rudely and hoarsely. In retaliation, Chris stood up, cupped his hands to his side, and thrusted them forward, miming a powerful beam of energy. He shouted at the top of his lungs his personal variant of a phrase from the anime Dragon Ball Z that he legitimately believed would bring bad luck to the victim. Unsurprisingly,
I'm not it's Tony, I'm not like a therapist or I don't have a mental health degree, but I have common sense, you know what I mean? And it's a mixture that doesn't seem great.
This did little to move Miss Walsh, who declared a ban on not just his attraction sign, but the distribution of his newsletter as well. This enraged Chris to the point where he privately declared war.
Mary Lee Walsh made it illegal to distribute the news
Yeah, I've heard that for too, Daytime Sky. That you have to kind of conform and hide, like, or suppress, almost like tics. But again, I'm not familiar with autism as someone who's not autistic, but...
I am very angry at that. In response, I plan to incite the masses and hopefully demand the return of the news dash so my chances of getting a girlfriend can be restored.
I think what would significantly have increased Chris's chances of getting a girlfriend is if he took off the Sonic shoe off his neck.
Fuel to the fire was Mary Lee Walsh's attempts to convince Bob and Barbara to remove
Cosmic
Chris from the
Productions,
college.
thank you very
Giving
much.
them flashbacks to their conflict with Nathaniel Green, they not only refused but became extremely upset. During summer break that year, Chris began exploring more locations to loiter at with his attraction sign, now dubbing them a
Oh my god, he went to like a he was like a door-to-door salesman looking for pussy. I didn't know this part. How could have this ended any other way but as disaster? I mean, it's still beyond anything. I mean, Blockbuster Critic. I'm actually IRL friends with him on Facebook, if that makes sense. Not like a fan page, or it's like we both expected it to have a tragic ending, sadly. Not that we wanted it to, but we expected it. But it's at a level that I never would have imagined. Same with him.
Attraction locations, he began standing at the Charlottesville.
Yeah, and because Jay Wasau 989, because of his autism, like, he wouldn't get the cues to, like, yeah, I'm not interested, stop. So, like, that aggression and that determination combined with he doesn't understand, due to his autism, the normal social cues. Again, I don't have a mental health degree, and I'm not, I'm not a doctor as well, but I'm just seeing from what I see that was like, oh, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back. Birds. I have lots of cans. Hello, everybody. Sorry. I was like, might as well pee while I'm doing this, too. I'm an autist at Cosmic Productions. I'm not sure if thank you for the super chat. If I think I thank you, but if I didn't, there you go. I'm an autistic person. It's very common for autistic people to have disorders that life much harder. Personally, I have anxiety and OCD. So are you considered... Oh, if I could stop yawning. Functionally autistic? No, he had a blow-up doll, man. Dude, who knows? He's probably fucked everything.
Fashion Square Mall. This would become the testing ground of a new strategy he'd adopted after watching a lot of anime. Essentially, his plan was to attach a paper heart to a piece of red string, and then throw it at women. He would then reel the string back in, expecting them to follow.
No! I mean, this shouldn't be funny, but he actually thought like a cartoon, like Wile E. Coyote or some shit. Like, oh, wow, a beautiful woman's at the end of that string. No. Here's the, oh, wow, I missed it. You think he drilled, oh, yeah, one DSP. I don't know what this, you mean this? Oh, Street Fighter. I forgot about that one. I haven't used it in a while.
You win. Perfect.
Just saw a mouse. You said it. No, but I had a mouse in my house and my cats ate it.
Unsurprisingly, in less than a week after conceiving the strategy, his plan was foiled when a mall security guard noticed and confiscated the string from him. This would lead Chris to coin the term jerk cop, later abbreviated to jerk op, to describe store security officers. His next run-in with mall staff...
Yeah, Chris, how dare they not want you harassing women at the mall? Those terrible, terrible mall cops.
Would occur 8 weeks into his loitering. This was when the same mall security guard from last time approached him, to which Chris pulled out some of his homemade trading cards that told the story of the Lonesome Virgin. He later bragged about intimidating the officer by shouting no directly in his face.
It's a little late for Christine Chandler now. It's Chris Chan, they need to be in a mental health facility for the rest of their life. It's the best place. Safest. I'm not even being funny. Subrich, can I get a oh Billy and I fell in I don't have an oh!
I fell down a fucking hole!
But that works too.
Only 5 days later, Chris was...
Someone said he was transferred to a mental health facility. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what I heard.
Was approached once again, this time becoming even more belligerent. It escalated to the point of him being detained and forbidden to return from the mall without supervision from his parents. As Chris entered his 5th year at PVCC, he still held resentment towards Miss Walsh in spite of his off-campus pursuits. It was around this point Chris left an inflammatory...
Yeah, Asperger. I thought they don't call it Asperger's anymore, though. Your autism helps. I'm sure it's tough, man. You know? Is it still called Asperger's?
Note for the Dean of Students, expressing his dislike for her.
I know people who have OCD who don't have, or maybe they do have Asperger's and don't even realize it, but OCD is tough.
Included was an illustration of an intimidating glare. This, as it would turn out, would be his downfall. Taking into account their previous quarrels, the message was interpreted by the school's administration as a form of harassment. After several hearings deliberating on his fate, the administration ultimately decided it'd be best to temporarily suspend Chris from the campus. Enraged by this development, Bob and Barbara decided to incite the masses themselves, allegedly penning a letter to the White House demanding action. Nothing came of their endeavors, and per the suspension, the criteria for him to return included anger management classes, a psychological evaluation, and social skills counseling. Strangely, it appeared the only reason Chris was upset about his ban was the fact he'd be losing the campus as an attraction zone.
It's been over a...
Because it was working out great for you, but he doesn't realize that. It's sexy cocoa, man. Yo, what's poppin', my people? With sexy cocoa, the realest, most delicious commentator with on YouTube, except the motherfucking substitutions, dog. You feel me? I should bring Sexy Coco back. I'll have GTA 5 gameplay. That'd be pretty funny.
A week since my suspension. I am depressed, lonely, sad, and bored. I have nowhere to go to attract a boyfriend-free woman. I'll be writing to Santa Claus this year, hoping that he will bring me one.
Whilst all this was going on, Chris became more invested in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, participating in his first tournament at the game place. It was there that he first met Megan Schroeder, an 18-year-old artist who...
Oh, I've heard about Megan Schroeder. Knife Boy, you're welcome. I think I may actually timestamp this one.
Shared many of the same interests as him. They quickly became friends, as she became Chris's first gal pal since leaving high school. Around this time, Chris attended the psychiatric evaluation he was required by PVCC's administration to receive. As of writing, it is the only objective, independent, professional evaluation of Christian as an adult.
Mr. Chandler is a 22-year-old man with a history of developmental delays and autism. Despite these limitations, he seems to have been quite successful in maximizing his academic abilities. Despite his significant delays in language, he has over the years developed relatively effective communication skills. He is left, however, with a severe degree of social awkwardness and seems to have good insight into this. He is left feeling somewhat frustrated as he has a strong desire for companionship, although his social limitations prevent him from being able to realize this in the way in which he would like.
Okay, translation from a psychiatrist to a layman. He really wants to get laid, but he really creeps out women.
He's been on antidepressants for many years, and it is not entirely clear what role they play. Based on the information available at this time, the patient doesn't seem to pose a significant threat to himself or anyone else. There is some suggestion that the anger control has been a problem, although how that has manifested itself is unclear. He certainly has no history of physical violence which would suggest any future risk.
Compared to Christian's state today, this paints a picture of a man that was still, relatively speaking, at the beginning of his descent. A time when he was more lonely than
it's an understatement.
in high school, but still frequently went outside and had modest social interaction at the game place. It's worth noting that the examiner concluded that Chris should receive further treatment, advice that his parents seemed to ignore. With a tumultuous home life accompanied by years of a society Chris felt he was weighed down by, the self-described virgin with rage decided to yet again...
See, now, that's where the parents, I'm like, I mean, okay, they maybe didn't see, but at the same time, on the flip side, and I don't know what went on behind closed doors, but you had to know something was up.
And pick up his pen. With all he had learned and experienced, it was at this point he would create what is now seen as...
Yeah, Sammy, that's the thing. And the other problem is that nothing was done about it. The signs are all there. Like, he's walking around with his imaginary Sonic the Hedgehog character on his neck, trying to get laid. As a parent, you wouldn't be like, stop!
As his magnum opus, the Sonic Chew comics. Not only did this series become his masterpiece, but more importantly brought attention his way. While up until this point he was known only by those in his local vicinity, soon enough a little image board would stumble upon his work, and in the process make internet history, as Christian Weston Chandler becomes
And when his dad, who I know sadly passed away, when his dad came in and said, "You need to get those videos off the internet," and I'm like, oh fuck, they have no idea how any of this works. He's screwed. And of course, Christian Weston Chandler uploaded that to the internet, making it all the more infamous because the dads came in saying that our house is so disgusting the county is going to shut it down.
Possibly the most notable person in the history of the World Wide Web.
Good, feels good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? What would you like to do? I mean, you guys like maybe want to go to McDonald's or something like that, or we could hang out in the gazebo maybe.
Yeah, Lyoko, that's autistic and dying. Unfortunately, I was on a cocktail of Adderall and sleeping pills and a couple other things as a kid. Did it help? I'm guessing from unfortunately it didn't.
Well, it's dark out now, so might not be able to see the gazebo.
That's true.
But I can point out it's behind the house, and you know where the pen is, the green at the fence, right at that's alongside the road there.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, anyway, you're driving down Westwood.
Right.
And you look to your right. You will see a doghouse before you see the
Yeah, those are just hounds. That's how they howl.
the pen. And the gazebo's behind the doghouse.
Gotcha. Okay.
I wish they showed the rest of the house.
Here we go.
That's hounds. They're not tortured. That's how they howl.
Gazebo's over here if you want to get inside.
Watch your step. This is your light source. I'm the light source.
Yes.
All right.
It's a good place to
It's a
hang
very
out
low
here.
gazebo. Yeah, it is.
You gotta watch your head if you're more than.
So I'm able to stand barely, but at 5'10".
If you're Brad Garrett, you would have to hunch down.
Well, how could it not, in Art's defense, and I believe that's his brother, how could it not be awkward? Like, everything in Christine Chandler's life has been awkward. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Dan Wolf, they're loud. And they have like the bark like it make your fucking ears bleed, man.
Yeah. He's like more than 6 feet.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Here, watch your step.
So Christine, do any of your neighbors know about Chris Chan and everything that goes on online?
Among which, yes.
Have
Oh no, imagine being a neighbor.
trolls ever harassed them?
Poor neighbors.
Not that I'm aware of. I pray they haven't.
Loud. Brrr! It's not like a woof woof. It's like a long penetrating howl.
Guys, I'll walk y'all back to your vehicles.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I'll walk y'all back to your Autobots.
To be had a feeling. Okay. So that was an interesting little adventure. Man, it's only been 2 hours, but yeah, I am tired. It's been a long day with children and banging out as much of the gameplay as possible of Ghostwire Tokyo. That review will be up tomorrow. Probably be up before I'm up, to be quite honest with you. It's going to be up at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So don't ask me how the game is because I can't say anything yet. You'll find out with the review. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with more, and I'll be live streaming tomorrow too without a question. So see you guys tomorrow. Huskies are louder? Maybe. Have a good night, everybody.